Oof, what a start to a rough day, guys. We are most definitely dumping. But I wouldn't be worried because at some point in time we're going to bottom out, guys. But we actually called this move, right? We actually called this move on my Twitter right here. XRP dump round 2, 21 hours ago. 21 hours ago, where was XRP at? 21 hours ago, guys. XRP was basically around $3.07 right here. Okay, and we dumped from this level about 5, almost 6%, right? But the reason why we know that it's probably going to keep going lower, even though we may have some short-term bounces, such as pump it to heavenly skies. I just tweeted out, so hopefully we do see another bounce here. But overall, I do think we're going to keep going lower, guys, until this chart tops. Okay, now we're going to be talking about this chart in a bit, guys. I don't want to talk about it right now, but the reason why we dumped as well is because it's pure manipulation. You guys understand this, right? From Ted, Binance is dumping millions of Ethereum. Why? To wipe out leverage longs. Oh yeah. Once liquidation hits, they'll pump it back up. Proof, right? So Binance right here, the exchange, keeps sending their assets to Wintermute. Look at this. That was all ETH. This is all Solana. Look how much Solana. Oh my lord, guys. So they're sending it to Wintermute right here, guys. I'm not quite sure what this is, but it's not. It doesn't seem like to be an exchange. It's a leading algorithmic trading firm and market maker in the cryptocurrency space. Wintermute provides liquidity on both centralized and decentralized exchanges, but it does not operate as a platform where users directly trade with each other. There it is, guys, right? So it's basically how Binance manipulates markets. It seems like a site where market makers use to transact. Okay, and basically the thing here is that if Binance is actually doing this, where they're sending their assets to Wintermute, to an exchange to sell it off, guys, right, and to bring prices down, well, that is definitely pure manipulation to wipe out, to basically steal users' funds, right, of them longing, because they are dumping, right, which means they're probably shorting on the back end too. Just as the SEC probably shorted XRP right before they brought upon this, the Ripple versus SEC case, right? But again, Binance should probably be investigated here. I'm not kidding. They should. Now with Binance, I do know something about Binance here. They kicked out CZ, right? And then they brought upon their own puppet, a WEF puppet. I'm not even kidding. Go search it up. Right? This happened a long time ago. They kicked out ZZ from the CEO position, and then they brought upon their own puppet. But the thing is, the shady stuff is still happening. Right, so how that's a big issue, guys. This is good news. Justin, Tether appoints Bo Hines, ex-White House Crypto Council exec, as strategic advisor for digital assets. Right, but we just talked about it. It doesn't matter who Tether appoints. Right, Binance US brought upon their own WEF puppet. Okay, now Tether is trying to bring upon an important player that was a part of the White House Advisory Council, right, for cryptocurrencies. But I'm pretty sure he resigned or left, guys, that position, and now Tether's trying to pick him up, right? Or I guess they did, right? For how much, who knows? But Bo Hines, you realize that you could basically ruin your career in a single night, right? Because it doesn't matter who they bring upon, guys. It depends on the fundamental side, as in, does Tether have the reserves? He will know what's happening behind the scenes now, right? Unless Tether doesn't show him. They probably won't even show him, because if they did, he's probably going to resign, right? And maybe I have a feeling that he's going to resign. He just got appointed, guys, but he's probably going to leave soon as well. Right, maybe probably right before the Tether collapses, in my opinion. I have this strange feeling, but it doesn't matter who they appoint until the day I see them being audited, I won't trust them. But that's that. I wouldn't sell if I were you. Amazing things are happening, guys, right? I'm pretty sure we're going to bottom out at some point relatively soon, and we're just going to go higher. The next leg up is imminent. Now, David Bailey's Kindly MD acquires 5,744 Bitcoin for $678 million. Then, someone just bought $180 million worth of Bitcoin. Look at all these buys, right? These are all whales buying. Air Canada Pension Fund reveals $161 million in Bitcoin allocation. This is Canada's first large pension fund with a Bitcoin allocation. Why would... Obviously, they trust Bitcoin to a certain degree here, right? And they're buying it while it technically dumps. Very beautiful. Not only is Binance manipulating prices to go lower to wipe out people who are longing, believing that the asset will go up and stealing retail's money, but number two is they're giving these whales a chance to scoop these assets at a cheaper price. Come on, guys, we're not going to get tricked 100%. I could guarantee that. This whale address just bought $70 million worth of Ethereum. Right? Whales are buying the dip like never before. But why? Because they believe it's going to go higher. Obviously, this tells me that the next leg higher is incoming. Sharplink Gaming buys 143,000 Ethereum worth at $667 million. 613. Come on. That's insane. ETH buys. This whale just opened two massive longs. A 25x for Ethereum and a Bitcoin 40x. Right? The equivalent to these leverages for XRP would be, I think, a 15x. Right? So imagine 15x longing XRP right here. Obviously, you have to be crazy bullish, right? For Bitcoin, it was a $11 million long, and then for ETH, 16 million, guys. Total about 30 million. He 100% knows something, obviously, right? Then, you remember that crazy whale, James Wynn, guys? The 40x Bitcoin whale, James Wynn, is back with a 25x ETH long. Right, but it's like 500,000, still a lot. Wonderfully crazy, guys. But he did lose a lot of money, right? But again, all these whales are being bullish, guys, or once used to be whales. But still, many people are buying, many insiders are buying, because I do believe a next leg higher is incoming until we see them topping out this, right? So while we're on the topic of this chart, we're above the 5-day moving average. Okay, 5-day, we're above it. I'm not too concerned. Why? Because if you go on the RSI here, I'm pretty sure it'll basically tell us a way that will front run the market. What did I say? What did I say? I want this chart to do. You guys remember, right? I hope you guys don't have like bad memory here, because I did say that this chart I wanted to pump like this. Right, I want the RSI. Look how, oh my lord, guys, we're probably getting close to a top for this chart and a bottom for cryptos in general. I want the RSI to go up like this to above this pivot right here, right, and then I want this chart to go up like this, but below this area, right, for some type of divergence. Now, if that doesn't happen, it's just gonna keep going up until it happens, right? So we just have to wait until it happens, guys. That's pretty much it, right? So, but again, I think short term though, what's going to happen here is we're going to come down and then probably pop back up, right? Just because I think XRP Bitcoin right now it's like extremely oversold, in my humble opinion, but not financial advice. Now, I wouldn't sell either, because I'm pretty sure we're getting near a bottom, just because from John Roberts, I covered the White House for more than a decade and never witnessed a meeting like this, right? Why are all these important players within the system, presidents, prime ministers, well, I think prime ministers, I don't even know any of these people, basically, except him, and a few others. This seems recognizable here, but all these players from major countries or within the same building, right? Why? Because he is the peaceful president, Donald Trump. This will be a white swan event. I told you, it dumped Bitcoin minus 60%, minus 65%. The opposite of a minus 65% is a pump of a plus 65%, which takes Bitcoin to 200K when this event completes. Russian President Putin to meet in person with the other side here to discuss ending the major event. What did I say? So now it's going to be a trilateral meeting, guys. I think with these two people and Donald Trump himself being in the middle of them, right? In the midst of it all. and then they're probably going to handshake, give some type of handshake, right, a friendly handshake to conclude it, and that's going to be the white swan event, which will pull cryptos crazy up, right? So we're getting there, most definitely. We're definitely getting there. They're just trying to bottom these assets, and they're trying to manipulate it prices so whales can scoop it up at cheaper prices. That's just me though, not financial advice. Ash Crypto says $3 trillion Goldman Sachs expects the Fed to cut rates 3 times in the next 4 months. Bullish for the markets. Look at that. Goldman Sachs, the major players, the major puppets, by the way, right? They hold how much assets, how much worth of assets? Trillions upon trillions. They are calling for the Federal Reserve to cut 3 times in the next 4 months. So by the end of this year, 4 cuts. I'm on the same boat as them, right? When the Fed cuts once, they're going to probably cut multiple other times because they'll induce a recession. But we're not at that point yet. I'm sure we're going to see another leg higher before that arrives. Okay? This isn't financial advice either. And then they're going to start printing, which means it targets next year because it delays interest rates. Interest rate cuts has a delay on the markets. So if they start cutting here soon, right, next month, and then in the next couple of months as well, multiple cuts, the delayed effect will be to 2026. Then they're obviously going to have started the money printer by then, which means XRP to crazy heights, Bitcoin to insane heights, and Ethereum to amazing heights is what I think here. Okay. So don't be priced out, don't sell. SEC Chair Paul Atkins to discuss crypto project today at Wyoming Blockchain Symposium. Look at that. Another one, right? Very beautiful because this is Project Crypto. It's targeting the entire crypto industry, not just a specific project, right? So there's a lot of bullish things here. I'm pretty sure we should see a pump, hopefully, right? We should see a pump for XRP. If we don't, we will bottom out at some point, guys, so I wouldn't fret. But I hope we see a pump. Now let's see what happens next, right? But we won't bottom out until this chart tops out, guys, okay? And I'm thinking we're going to go for XRP. I don't want to talk about XRP right now, but I'm pretty sure we're going to go lower in the next few weeks before we truly start the next leg higher. This is some financial advice. Let's see what happens next. And just don't do anything. Sit on your hands. No, financial advice. What do you say, Sophie's Mazes? See ya.